week's Cruise Chat. I'm Kathleen Penner, owner of Plenty of Sunshine Travel, and today I'm joined by Guillaume, and Guillaume is from Oceana Cruises. This is the first time I've met with them, and I'm really excited to see their brand overview and some of their itineraries and just see what the difference is with their cruise line. So over to you.
Thanks, Kathleen. I really appreciate being able to do a little presentation on Oceana today. I'm just going to fiddle with my screen so I can share a couple of images with you to let you know a little bit more about Oceana. Really kind of what defines us as a cruise line, because we're maybe not quite as well known as some of your mainstream cruise lines and maybe some of the ones that your guests are more common with. So yeah, let me get my screen shared here and then we'll go. So welcome. Oceana, it's a cruise line that we created about 13 years ago. And we really wanted to kind of define a small niche in the marketplace that we really identified. And one of these things is I really like to kind of, well, definitely one of the things I want to start off with is basically, you know, in this last year, it's been quite unprecedented year in the cruise industry as well as globally. Now, obviously, a lot of conversations are going to be centered around kind of how we are proceeding to keep you safe as guests. And at Oceana, actually, a lot of our tendencies lend quite well to the post-pandemic world. So we have introduced what we call our Sail Safe scheme. Actually, I was also kind of happy to let you know, as a cruise line, we've not had any reported cases of COVID on board. And moving forward into this post-pandemic world, we have a lot of different information. Obviously, that's kind of evolving as things start to open up again. And if you need to know more information, obviously, please reach out to Kathleen. But we also have a dedicated website to up-to-the-date information called, it's at oceanacruises.com/health. So there's a lot of different information that you can find on there in regards to your safety moving forward. Now, as a cruise line, as I said, we started in the early 2000s, and we wanted to kind of fit into this little niche in the marketplace that we kind of identified where and really this kind of brand positioning here kind of is tantamount to who we appeal to in our kind of demographics as well. Really, one of the things that I would say with an Oceana guest is that our guests really enjoy their service. They do enjoy quite a lot of exclusivity, but at the same time, they are still a little bit more intrepid. So where we try to fit into the marketplace is where we're trying to offer a really high level of service product, yet at the same time, giving our guests the choice and the freedom where they didn't need quite as much hand-holding as the luxury guests do. So as a cruise line, for example, we're not completely all-inclusive, but that's by design. One of the things is that, alcohol still comes at a cost on board, but for us, it's not that, generally our guests are going to be out and about during the day. So we've built in different types of packages where we can offer guests like beer, wine, and champagne with lunch and dinner. But, because that's generally when our guests are going to be in and around having a glass of wine. And as I say, we're not completely all-inclusive. So we're not offering shore excursions in every single port. Again, we have packages where you can add in shore excursions at certain ports when you need to. And as a cruise line, we're very tailorable towards your needs. So in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of where we tend to fit in. And one of the things that we've definitely seen in trending recently is a lot of guests are coming towards this kind of small ship sailing. So we really based ourselves on these three different pillars, and it's we've kind of stayed tried, true, and tested to these three different pillars over the years. And that's our small ship luxury, the beautiful cuisine that we have on board, and the absolutely incredible itineraries that we offer. Now, a bit of the issue with this is that every cruise line talks about how great their ships are. Every cruise line talks about how good their ports of call are, and especially every cruise line talks about how great their cuisine is. So I wanted to share a little bit with you today on how we differ on these three things and how we really create a memory around one of these things. At Oceana, we're really trying to craft around creating memories for you as guests. And essentially, we're going to get you on one of these three things. So I'll maybe start off with our small ships. Now, we have 6 ships in the fleet. We have 2 different classes, one called the Regatta class, that's made up of the Regatta, the Nautica, and the Insignia, and the Serena. As you can see, at capacity, we're only at 684 guests. So what that means to you is that there's never any lineups. When you're getting off in port, you get off at your leisure. There's no, waiting to get onto tenders, that kind of thing. As you can see here as well, we have a really great high guest to staff ratio. Now, what that means is you as a guest, it goes into that little bit of service, so if you're the kind of person who takes, a double shot espresso in the morning and your coffee, and the second morning in a row you order that, on the third day, the barista is going to be like, double shot espresso for you, sir. So it's those small little things that make a big difference in the experience. For sure. And then we also have our Oceana class, which is made up of the Marina and the Riviera. Again, with this one at capacity, we're only at 1,250 guests, and a guest to crew ratio of 1.5 to 1. So roughly, we've got around about 800 crew for 1,200 guests. And actually, I used to be a crew member myself way back in the day. And I can tell you, it's an awful lot easier looking after 1.5 of you than it is looking after 1 in 4. So again, that kind of really goes into that service.
Yeah, you really get that personalized service.
It really is, and it's amazing. A lot of the guests that we have come back year after year to actually interact with our crew members. They create such great relationships with them that it almost kind of feels like family. And actually, speaking of family, it kind of fits into our residential design. The ships have been designed in a specific way where we try and go into certain areas on the ships to get unique pieces to fit within the style of the vessel itself, to kind of give it a feel of home. So, we're not in the business of going out to buy 3,000 chairs because we're getting a bulk discount on it. We're trying to fit in with unique pieces of furniture, unique artwork. For example, on our Oceana class, we have over $6 million worth of original artwork on board. So that's like original Monets and Picassos on board. And it's not to say everybody has a Picasso sitting at home, but it's one of the things our guests appreciate. You can actually do a walking tour of the art on board of that vessel itself. So they're really thought out. And one thing for sure, as technology is moving forward, it seems like the ships are getting bigger and bigger these days. And they're almost becoming the destination unto themselves.
Right.
For us, the destination's always going to be the destination. But how we get you there, we want you to get into that destination in a relaxed manner, in a comfortable way. And this is really around about our aspect there. And then just to give you an idea, this is how we kind of measure up compared to the big ships. And really, this makes a big difference for us. For example, we're the ship that can be docked beside the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. So we're getting you into the heart of the destination. It makes a
huge difference. Yeah.
Oh yeah, really. I mean, we're the kind of line that's there for kind of explorers as well. Even our largest ship can actually go down the Amazon River. So we try and inspire with these different types of itineraries, and it makes a big difference for us. And not only that, when we're trying to get into these destinations too, we're trying to be more exclusive for you as guests in that, my hometown is Vancouver, and although I don't sound like I'm from Vancouver, I'll have to accent. When we get into Vancouver, we try to be there on maybe like a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's very uncommon for us to be there on a Saturday or a Sunday because that's when all these bigger vessels are in Vancouver. So we try to, even though we're trying to get into some of these larger ports of call, we're trying to do it in a more exclusive way. And I guess in this world of kind of socially distancing and whatnot right now, it's maybe an added advantage too, where you're not going to be on throngs of tourists as well.
Right. Yeah. I think that's great because when I travel, I think of myself as a traveler, not a tourist.
Yes.
So I like to get into the areas that are not as North Americanized, and they are just, you're able to see the actual culture. And I think you can really get that on the small ships that you don't get on the mega liners. And I think that's just a fabulous way to travel personally.
Yes, and there's really part of the mantra that goes into those three pillars that we were trying to deliver. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, our accommodations, we have, just again, a really relaxed manner. We've redesigned a lot of our smaller ships in the last couple of years. So as you can see on that top right-hand corner, that's a typical stateroom in our veranda category.
Mhm.
Again, we've tried to match like colors close to the sea, so you'll see a lot of kind of navies and silvers and emeralds and things
Very
like that.
calming. It's beautiful.
Again, that kind of residential style to think into the way that we've designed these ships as
Mhm.
well. And then a really exciting thing for us right now as well is our new introduction of a new class of vessel called the Allura Class.
Mhm.
We're introducing the first vessel in that class called the Oceana Vista. And these are some renderings of what the new grand dining room is going to look like. It's something that's very exciting for us.
Mhm.
We had new ships built for us kind of 10 years ago. So this is like, our new toy to play with. They're
Mhm.
going to be introduced in 2023, but actually bookings are going to be coming, or the opening up of bookings are going to be coming through very soon.
Okay.
Just to kind of give you an idea of what we're looking like here, just a beautiful design again, really thought out on how we deliver that experience for you as guests.
Mhm.
And then it's really all tied up into our service. As you mentioned, it's those relationships that we really foster with our crew members. They tie that whole experience in together. Usually on some of these presentations, when I was able to speak to people in live in person, I'd show a quick video, and there's this one guy called Matthew, who's a cruise director on our Nautica ship, and we do a really good job with this marketing video, and there's people hugging him, and I'm like, okay, it's maybe a bit of the cheese going on there, and it's maybe a bit of the marketing going on there.
Yeah.
But I was actually lucky enough to be on the ship 2 years ago, and I couldn't believe it. The amount of people that were guests that were actually going up and hugging him because they were like, "Oh, it's Matthew again. We love to see him." It was a real experience, and
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
fabulous.
it's something we tried to deliver every day, and
Mhm.
it's one of the things that guests come talking back about every time. So
Wonderful.
that's kind of our ships. The cuisine, it'll be amiss to not talk about our cuisine. Now, if you
Without
know
good food,
Oceania,
yep.
this is one thing that we're really renowned for. Throughout every single line, we win awards year after year with our cuisine. Our tagline is the finest cuisine at sea. And unless you've tasted the food, it's an intangible, so it's a difficult concept to get across. But this really starts with our team. For example, on the top right-hand corner here, this is Mr. Jacques Pepin.
Mhm.
He was one of the first celebrity chefs, kind of from the Julia Child era. I don't know, there's all these videos of him back in the day. Now, Jacques himself, he oversees our menu and our grand dining room. He is actually a master chef, of which there's maybe about 400 to 500 in the world entirely.
Mm.
And at Oceania, we actually employ 3 master chefs.
Wow.
So it really goes into the difference that we try and deliver.
Mhm.
Now, I'll actually go back to some of the stats that I was talking about previously. So in our Oceania class, we actually have 1,200 guests. We've got 800 crew. Of those 800 crew, around about 400 of them are dedicated to the culinary side of things alone. So it makes a huge difference when it comes to delivering that experience when it comes to our cuisine. And that goes into our ingredients as well. So as a cruise line, we spend more on ingredients than any other cruise line out there. What we also do is we cook à la minute. So what that means is when the waiter takes your order and he takes that into the kitchen, that's when it's being prepared. We're not one of these lines where we need to cater towards 3,000 or 4,000 people. So for us to be able to get ready for 6 o'clock at night, we need to start prepping at 6 in the morning. No, everything's made from scratch there and then on the spot. And again, that goes into a huge difference when we're delivering that a beautiful experience in the
Yeah, you can
dining.
certainly taste the difference in that, and that's
Oh,
fabulous.
it
Yeah.
makes such a big difference. We try and source locally as much as possible.
Mhm.
For example, like that little bread on the left-hand side there, we make fresh bread from a mill in France. We order flour from this mill in France so that we can make fresh French bread every single morning. from scratch. So again, it's these small things that make a big difference to the experience itself. And not only that, our dining venues as well. We've got some really inspired dining venues. Now, again, kind of talking to where our guests and their intrepidness kind of fits into things. We have like an open dining venue, so that, you know, for example, if somebody's having like a long day in Rome, they are coming back to the ship at 8:30 or 8 o'clock at night, and they want to have dinner at 9. No problem. We have the dining room available for them. The next day, because they've had such a long day, they want to eat at 5 o'clock. We've got that option to be able to do that too.
Oh, that's fabulous.
And then in addition to that as well, we want our guests to enjoy the experience. So all our specialty dining restaurants, they come at no additional cost. All we ask for is a reservation. And some of these dining venues are just fabulous. You know, we have our Toscanas, which is Italian fare, Polo Grill, which is kind of like our steak restaurant. We have Red Ginger, which is probably the most popular one, which is like an Asian fusion cuisine. So if you ever do get the chance, try the crispy duck and watermelon salad. It's a bit out there, but man, it's just, it's fantastic.
Unique. Yeah. Awesome.
And then the additional thing to this as well, we don't have any formal nights on board. We have a what we call country club casual experience. So there's no formal nights at all. We want our guests to arrive in a relaxed manner. So that means donning a suit and tie is maybe not exactly what works for a lot of guests there. So no formal evenings there as well. Then I'm going to talk quickly about our curated travel experience. Really, the destinations inspire themselves, but how we do that, again, it's we try and deliver, again, because of the intrepid nature of our guests. A lot of our guests want to see different destinations when they get over to Europe, or if into the Far East or into Asia. So you'll find a lot of our itineraries. I was using this one as an example where we will have port-intensive itineraries. We try and stay longer in destination. You'll find us that we'll try and stay an awful lot of time in overnights in destination as well, so that the guests get to experience those destinations more fully. So this is kind of a very typical itinerary of what we do in the Mediterranean. But where we differ slightly as well is we kind of go off the beaten track a little bit. So as you can see, for next year, we're going back into Istanbul. We're doing some beautiful Greek islands in the Mediterranean there as well. And again, going off those kind of a little bit off the beaten track. So obviously you get Santorini, which is one of the most popular islands over there. But we're getting into Rhodes, we're getting into Syros. So a little bit off the beaten track there as well.
Yeah.
And then to give you an idea too, we're going back into the Black Sea. So this is kind of the first time in 8 years we're going back there. So it's quite exciting for us to revisit the Black Sea. And again, just it's one of these ones where guests are looking to kind of tick different destinations off that big list of theirs. And we really kind of deliver that in different ways as well. And I wanted to highlight this one, and really a trend that we're seeing right now is that obviously guests have not had the opportunity to travel in maybe the last couple of years. So we're finding that guests are really taking the time now to take longer itineraries than ever before. So this one here is a 32-day itinerary starting in Oslo and finishing in London. And it's a good example of what we try to do or deliver when it comes to our itineraries. So in here, we're going into St. Petersburg. There, we're going to be staying overnight. There's other itineraries as well where we sometimes stay 2 nights in St. Petersburg. So that gives you the option to go and see the ballet in St. Petersburg. And in addition, it gives you the option to take a side trip down to Red Square to visit Moscow and still have the time to enjoy St. Petersburg when you get back. And then going off the beaten track here, we're going all the way up into the Arctic Circle and the North Cape and Norway. But then we're hooking back over into Russia, into Archangel, which was like a really important historic port for the Russians from way back in medieval times. So it's, again, going off that beaten path a little bit to inspire our guests to do these different types of itineraries.
Yeah, I think I just counted, excuse me, 22 different stops in the 32 days, and some are overnight. That's fabulous. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
So
really
you're not getting too many sea days there. I don't know, some people enjoy their sea days, but it's kind of that making the most of it when we're getting out there. And then actually, this is a really great itinerary too. This is our circumnavigation of Ireland. Now, one thing that you can do with Oceania, and as an offer, we will include air out of most major gateways in North America. And one thing that you can actually do with this is that you can do pre and post stays. So if you want to extend your air, you can actually extend up to 3 weeks prior and up to 3 weeks post. And this itinerary here was actually one of the most popular itineraries for that pre and post air deviation. And that what was happening is that obviously there's maybe a lot of people with heritage from Ireland that they were going in, flying into Ireland. They were touring the inside of Ireland at the time and visiting the family roots and whatnot. And then afterwards getting on the ship itself and then going around the coastals. So, again, this kind of highlights some of the differences that we can provide at Oceania. And then again, something to inspire and off the beaten track. We sail up the west coast of Africa, which not many cruise lines will tend to do. So we're starting out at Cape Town here. So obviously, some guests, they don't like going quite as far in terms of the long flights. So eliminating one of those long flights with this itinerary here is a great idea. We're starting out at Cape Town, we're going up into Walvis Bay, Namibia, visiting the dunes and the wildlife up there. We're going up into Dakar, which is kind of famous for the rally in Senegal, and then heading up through Portugal, and then heading back through Canada and St. John's, and then finishing back up in New York to get that short flight home. Again, another kind of this one's a showstopper, right? So it really inspires this itinerary here as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put this one quite quickly here too. We're going into Antarctica for one of the first times here. Normally we do some really great South American itineraries, but here we're getting the Falkland Islands as well as going all the way into Antarctica. So again, a really kind of inspired type of itinerary too. And I did mention as well, we go all the way through into up the Amazon River. All the way for 25 days. So you're actually spending 7 full days on the Amazon River. And this is on Insignia. So again, really, really different type of itinerary, really inspired as well. And even when we get into those destinations, we have all these different types of excursions. We're really renowned for, actually one that we just launched kind of pre-pandemic was our Go Local tours. So getting you into the heart of the destination, but experiencing it like a local, and visiting with locals in those destinations to kind of immerse yourself a little bit more and what inspires you about visiting those different types of destinations too. And then lastly, kind of how that's all tied up is our value. We have one standard offer as a cruise line, which is called our O-Life Choice. Now, Kathleen, you're here to assist in this side of things for your guests. And really, this is like what we offer is our airfare out of our major gateways in North America, and then a choice of either shore excursions, a beverage package, or a shipboard credit. We also will always include internet as a standard, so that's always included. Specialty restaurants are always included. For example, if we're not in the city centre, we will also provide shuttles. So a good example of that's when we get into Venice. Everybody wants to go to St. Mark's Square. Everybody's in the port of Venice. There's quite a distance between the two. We'll actually lower our tenders into the water and we'll ferry people back and forth. So again, trying that small difference that makes a big difference to our guests as well.
Absolutely.
Fitness classes are included. Anything that's non-alcoholic is also included. So your specialty coffees, your smoothies, we actually also have introduced our still and sparkling water system, where we've eliminated 3 million plastic bottles of water. And we've replaced this with like a fountain system and a glass filtration system. So again, trying to make those small differences there too. And then obviously Kathleen being part of the Travel Professionals International, we offer a lot of different sailings with gratuities included in those. So contact Kathleen for more details on those. And then just as a thank you for taking your time out of your day to have a look at Oceana Cruises. if you do decide to book within the end of June to beginning of July, I'd be really happy to offer you an additional $200 shipboard credit.
Oh, fabulous.
Yeah, that's kind of us in a nutshell. I would, if you, I really welcome you on board coming on Oceania to try something different. So.
Yeah, it looks amazing. It was really nice to do that brand overview. I thank you for putting all that together. And that's super. I really love how, you've got the flights included on most of them, and different offers are available, and that's fabulous. So.
Yeah, we're a very tailorable cruise line. So, if you do need a short excursion in every single port, no problem. That's something we can do. The reason we don't include a short excursion in every single port is that sometimes, you may have been to some of those destinations before, and you may know that little corner or that little restaurant that you want to go back and visit, but you may have not gone to the next port. So why not take the short excursion there? So we're very tailorable by choice, and we're here to really try and meet their needs. So
yeah, no, I love that. I think it's great because everybody has a different goal in mind for their cruises. So it's perfect to tailor make it to those people and to have a bespoke plan, really. For what they would like. So that's fabulous. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Everybody has a great week, and we'll see you all next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this week's cruise chat with Oceana Cruises. It was just amazing to see that brand overview. Their ships look absolutely gorgeous. I love the new dining room, that new ship that's going to be debuting in 2023. And the food, I mean, that blew me away. Some of the special different dishes that they have, and how everything is made for you, not in advance. So you're not going to get the mass market kind of prep meals already ready for you, but everything we made exactly to your specifications, which I think is fabulous. If you're interested in learning any more about Oceania, feel free to reach out to me, info@plentyofsunshine travel. Now, I was told when I was speaking with Guillaume after, that a lot of their prices are going to be raising on July 1st. So if you'd like to lock in the rates that they currently have, make sure you reach out to me before even the extra bonus that he offered, which was an extra $200 onboard credit. So I believe that was July 9th. So be sure to reach out to me before that. That would be awesome. If you're listening to this on our Cruising the Waves podcast and you'd like to see some of the pictures, be sure to join us on Plenty of Sunshine Travel on YouTube. And the other way, if you'd really like to listen to our episodes on the go, they're all uploaded to your favorite streaming platform. I think I'm on 9 or 10 of them. So feel free to just search for Cruising the Waves podcast on the platform that you like, and you'll find us there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great week, everybody. Bye.